paradise beckons with whispers of turquoise waters and pristine white sands. Zanzibar, where the Indian Ocean meets ancient history, where honeymooners toast to forever under crimson sunsets. This was the dream that Olivia and Marcus Reynolds saved for, planned for, sacrificed for. The travel blogs showcased smiling couples walking hand in hand along beaches that seemed to stretch into eternity. The Instagram filters captured perfect moments, exotic cocktails, coral reefs teeming with kaleidoscopic fish, and local markets bursting with spices and color. What the glossy brochures didn't show: the abandoned colonial property just kilometers from luxury resorts, the blood-stained sand that would never again glisten purely in the Tanzanian sun, the meticulous police photographs documenting where two bodies, two lives, two dreams ended violently on what should have been the vacation of a lifetime. May 23, 2018. The date etched permanently into case files and grieving family members' hearts. The date when a special local tour became the final chapter for a Minneapolis couple who thought they were writing the beginning of their next great adventure. The most chilling aspect wasn't the remote location. It wasn't the calculated violence. It was how easily Olivia and Marcus, educated, cautious, worldly, were manipulated by people they believed were just like them, fellow travelers sharing paradise, swapping stories over sunset drinks. They trusted the warm smiles of Theo and Natalie Carson, the perfectly crafted personas hiding experienced predators. They trusted because in paradise surrounded by beauty, why wouldn't you? How different might their fate have been if they'd asked themselves one crucial question, the same question I now pose to you: how well do you really know the strangers you meet on vacation? Tonight, we'll examine how a sophisticated criminal network turned Zanzibar's paradise into a hunting ground, how they selected their victims, gained their confidence, and ultimately betrayed that trust in the most devastating way possible. Their story exposes the dangerous gap between carefully crafted destination marketing and the hidden realities tourists may never see, until it's too late. Before we continue, I want to ask, have you ever felt that moment of uncertainty while traveling? That inexplicable discomfort when something just doesn't feel right? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might help someone else recognize danger before tragedy strikes. This is Guilty Minds Crime Stories. I'm your host, and this is Zanzibar. Paradise betrays couple, romantic vacation turns to horror. Minneapolis, 2010. A chance meeting at a mutual friend's housewarming party brought Olivia Chen and Marcus Reynolds together. She, driven, brilliant first-year medical student with dreams of neurosurgery. He, recently commissioned Marine officer, ready to serve with quiet determination. Their connection was immediate, their paths seemingly divergent. Their early relationship weathered the strain of long-distance communication. During Marcus's first deployment to Afghanistan in 2012, they exchanged letters, actual handwritten pages, when satellite calls proved rare. Olivia kept every single one, reading them during short breaks between 30-hour hospital shifts. He wrote about the desert stars. Olivia's mother would later tell investigators how they reminded him of her eyes when she laughed. The couple married in 2013 during a brief 2-week leave, a simple ceremony with immediate family. No honeymoon, no extravagance, just vows exchanged before Marcus deployed again. Olivia returned to her residency the following day. By 2018, they had earned this respite. Marcus had completed 2 tours, transitioning to civilian life as a security consultant. The nightmares from combat had faded, though not disappeared. Olivia had completed her grueling neurosurgical residency, accepting a position at Minneapolis Memorial. Their careers demanded precision, focus, and sacrifice, qualities they both possessed in abundance. They lived modestly despite their incomes, Marcus's father explained. Saving for this trip became their shared goal. Every extra dollar went into what they called the Zanzibar Fund. Why Zanzibar? The island represented everything their lives had lacked: tranquility, spontaneity, natural beauty. For Marcus, the historical architecture of Stone Town offered cultural immersion without the triggers of war-torn regions. For Olivia, the spice plantations connected to her Chinese grandmother's stories of the ancient maritime spice route. They researched for months: vaccination requirements, political stability, resort security ratings. Marcus created spreadsheets comparing accommodations. Olivia studied cultural customs and basic Swahili phrases. They booked through reputable agencies, purchased comprehensive travel insurance, registered with the State Department's travel program. They did everything right, Commander Mbwana would later acknowledge with palpable regret. When they boarded their flight on May 16th, the couple carried more than carefully packed luggage. They carried 8 years of postponed celebrations, delayed gratifications, and the promise of reconnection. 2 weeks of paradise, earned, deserved, meticulously planned. They left nothing to chance, except for whom they would meet there. The Emerald Bay Resort materialized like a mirage as their airport transfer wound along the coastal road. Olivia pressed her face against the window, fatigue from 20 hours of travel dissolving at the sight of crystalline waters stretching to the horizon. "We're actually here," she whispered, squeezing Marcus's hand. The resort exceeded their expectations. Their beachfront villa featured a private plunge pool, outdoor shower beneath swaying palms, and floor-to-ceiling windows framing the Indian Ocean. The staff greeted them with chilled coconut water and warm lemongrass-scented towels. "Villa 19 becomes your sanctuary," their personal concierge explained, presenting a hand-carved wooden key. "Your home in Zanzibar." Those first 4 days unfolded with the perfection of a travel documentary. They snorkeled among parrotfish and sea turtles in protected reefs. They toured Stone Town's labyrinthine streets, Marcus marveling at the intricate carved doorways while Olivia haggled good-naturedly for spices in the market. Each evening brought new delights: a candlelit dinner buried ankle-deep in sand, a sunset dhow cruise where dolphins played in their wake, a private cooking class where they learned to make coconut fish curry from a local chef. On their 4th night, they dined beneath the stars. Lanterns illuminated their table as waves lapped gently nearby. "To us," Marcus toasted, clinking glasses with Olivia. "To finally putting ourselves first." She captured that moment, their glasses raised against the sunset, faces glowing with contentment. The photo she texted her brother carried a simple caption: "This is exactly what we needed." Neither noticed the couple at the beachside bar watching them with calculated interest. Neither saw the server who lingered too long beside their table, memorizing snippets of conversation about their plans for the coming days. The Reynolds photos from that evening showed genuine joy, the weightlessness of people who've temporarily escaped life's pressures. The final images before everything changed. The American couple at the North Bar: "They've been asking about you." The resort bartender's comments seemed innocent as he served the Reynolds their morning fruit juices. When Olivia glanced over, she noticed an attractive couple waving warmly. Theo and Natalie Carson approached with easy confidence, tanned, athletic, dressed in designer resort wear. "We couldn't help overhearing you're from Minneapolis yesterday," Theo explained, his handshake firm. "We're from San Diego, but Natalie's sister lives in St. Paul. Small world, right?" The conversation flowed effortlessly. The Carsons shared tales of previous exotic vacations, showing photos of adventures in Thailand, Bali, and Morocco. They knew Zanzibar intimately. This was their 2nd visit in 3 years. "You absolutely must see the hidden parts of the island," Natalie insisted. "The places they don't show tourists. That's the real Zanzibar." When Hamisi Faraji, the resort manager, passed by their table, he noted the intensity with which the Carsons focused on the Reynolds. Later, he would recall several details that seemed minor at the time: how the Carsons rarely used resort amenities despite their supposed 2-week stay, how staff reported they frequently left before dawn and returned after midnight, how they never seemed to unpack fully. "Our security protocols include monitoring guest patterns," Faraji later testified. The Carsons exhibited behaviors that should have triggered further scrutiny. What no one at Emerald Bay realized: similar scenarios had played out at 3 other luxury resorts across Zanzibar in the previous year. At each location, Western couples were befriended by sophisticated travelers who eventually guided them off property to remote locations. Police records, accessed only after the Reynolds case forced a comprehensive investigation, revealed 7 similar incidents. In each case, tourists were robbed of valuables, cash, and passports. Unlike the Reynolds, all previous victims survived to file police reports that were systematically downplayed by tourism authorities. These were classified as isolated incidents, rather than connected criminal activity, Commander Mbwana admitted during the investigation. The pattern was evident, yet our tourism board pressured law enforcement to minimize these reports. The Carsons' technique was refined through practice. They researched their targets thoroughly using resort Wi-Fi to access social media profiles. They mirrored interests and backgrounds. They created false intimacy through shared experiences. By their 2nd dinner together, Olivia and Marcus felt they'd found kindred spirits. When Theo mentioned a special excursion to a private cove known only to locals, the kind of authentic experience you can't find in travel guides, the Reynolds eagerly accepted. "We have connections with a local guide," Natalie explained. "He'll take us tomorrow. The resort tours are so overpriced and commercial. Have you ever ignored warning signs while traveling because you wanted to believe in people's goodness?" Have you dismissed that instinctive caution in pursuit of authentic experiences? Share your stories in the comments. What red flags did you notice only in retrospect? Morning light filtered through palm fronds as the Reynolds met the Carsons in the resort lobby. Theo arrived carrying a woven bag filled with snorkeling gear and a portable cooler. "I packed extra sunscreen and water," he announced. "The cove has the most pristine coral reef on the island, completely untouched." When the front desk attendant inquired about their plans, Natalie smoothly intervened. "Just a quick trip to Stone Town," she smiled, steering the group toward the exit. "We've arranged our own transportation." Outside, a Land Rover with faded Zanzibar Explorer Tours logos waited. The driver, introduced as Emmanuel, nodded respectfully. His vehicle lacked the official resort transportation tags, a detail that would later haunt the investigation. Resort policy explicitly advised guests to use only hotel-arranged excursions or licensed tour operators with proper credentials. A laminated card in each villa stated, "For your safety, please book all activities through our concierge desk." The Reynolds had read this notice. They'd even discussed it during their planning phase. Yet in that moment, surrounded by the confident Carsons and the promise of an exclusive experience, the protocol seemed overly cautious. "The driver has taken us everywhere," Natalie assured them. "He's practically family at this point." Marcus, trained to assess security risks, hesitated briefly. "Is this tour registered with the local tourism board?" "Of course," Theo replied too quickly. "But they don't publicize these locations to prevent overcrowding. Trust me, this will be the highlight of your trip." That reassurance, from someone they'd come to view as a friend, was enough. As they climbed into the vehicle, Olivia captured the moment. The photo showed the four of them smiling broadly, the Carsons' arms draped casually around the Reynolds' shoulders. Marcus posted it with the caption, "Off the beaten path, hashtag Zanzibar Adventure." It was 9:47 a.m. on May 23rd, the last digital timestamp of their lives. If you're finding this story valuable as a travel safety reminder, please hit the like button. Your engagement helps spread this important awareness to more travelers who might face similar situations. Every like potentially protects someone from becoming another tragic headline. The Land Rover veered from the coastal highway 40 minutes into their journey. The paved road gave way to a rutted dirt path cutting through dense vegetation. Coconut palms and baobab trees blocked the horizon, disorienting the Reynolds who had grown accustomed to ocean views. "This doesn't look like a beach route," Marcus observed, military instincts prickling. Theo laughed. "The locals keep the best spots hidden. 10 more minutes." The timeline reconstructed by investigators indicates the vehicle traveled approximately 7 kilometers inland before stopping near an abandoned colonial structure. Crumbling stone walls stood partially concealed by encroaching jungle. No other vehicles were visible, no tourists, no signs of the promised exclusive beach experience. "We need to grab the special equipment from our friends first," Natalie explained, as 3 men emerged from the building. The moment crystallized for Marcus when he noticed their guide Emmanuel lock the vehicle doors from his dashboard controls. Theo's demeanor shifted, the easy smile hardening into something cold. "Give me your watches, phones, and room keys," Theo demanded, producing a handgun from his bag. "Passport codes and credit card pins, too." Olivia gasped. Marcus instinctively moved in front of her. "You've made a mistake," Marcus stated calmly, military training engaging. "Take our valuables and let us go." Court testimony from Jumaqueli, one of the accomplices who later cooperated with authorities, provided a detailed account of what happened next. The American man seemed to comply, removing his watch. When Theo reached for it, the American grabbed his wrist and the gun. They struggled. The gun discharged. The bullet struck Natalie, actually Lucia Bianchi, in the shoulder. Her scream triggered chaos. Marcus, leveraging combat training, nearly wrenched the weapon free before the other men converged. Olivia seized the moment to wrench open her door and run. She made it 30 meters before being caught by one of the waiting men. Her medical training evident, she had targeted the tree line, moving in a zigzag pattern that would have eventually led to the main road. The plan collapsed when the gun fired, Quelly testified. Everyone panicked. Marcus fought with unexpected ferocity. According to forensic analysis, he disabled one attacker before being overcome. The defensive wounds on his arms and hands showed he protected his head while fighting multiple assailants. DNA evidence under his fingernails helped identify 2 of the perpetrators. Ballistic testing revealed no gunshot wounds on either victim. The violence became frenzied and personal. Improvised weapons included rocks and a tire iron from the vehicle. "They wouldn't stop fighting," Quelly stated. The woman kept screaming for help. Mwangi said we couldn't leave witnesses now. Crime scene investigators documented the couple's final moments through blood pattern analysis. Marcus crawled toward Olivia despite catastrophic injuries. Their hands were found inches apart. She had torn fabric from her dress, attempting to create a tourniquet for his wounds. Their final act was reaching for each other. The Reynolds were scheduled for a sunset dinner cruise at 6 p.m. When they failed to appear, resort staff made cursory calls to their room. By 8:30 p.m., the standard missing guest protocol activated. We checked their villa first, resort manager Faraji recounted. Their belongings remained untouched. Their room key cards hadn't been used since morning. Staff questioned other guests, quickly identifying the Carsons as their last known contacts. Security attempted to locate the Carsons, discovering they had checked out at 11:42 a.m., less than 2 hours after departing with the Reynolds. They settled their bill in cash, the front desk supervisor reported. Said a family emergency required immediate departure. By midnight, local police received the missing persons report. Yet critical momentum stalled when officers suggested the Americans might have spontaneously chosen alternate accommodations. Tourism officials discouraged premature alarm, Commander Rashid Mbwana later explained. Previous experience showed Western tourists occasionally left resorts without notice for nearby hotels. Dawn revealed the truth. Fisherman Bakari Jumba, heading to his boat at 5:15 a.m., spotted an abandoned Land Rover partially concealed in mangroves near the village of Kiwengwa. The vehicle door stood open, Jumbe testified. I approached thinking someone needed help. Then I saw the blood. Jumbe immediately contacted police. Officer Zainab Pandu arrived at 5:47 a.m., securing the scene and recognizing the vehicle matched the resort's description. Blood spatter patterns inside the Land Rover prompted an immediate area search. The blood distribution indicated victims had been removed from the vehicle. Forensic analyst Dr. Kamili explained in court. Drag marks led from the vehicle toward the abandoned building. Commander Mbwana arrived at 6:30 a.m., immediately recognizing the gravity of the scene. His 22 years investigating major crimes had developed instincts that told him this was no robbery gone wrong. The level of blood loss within the vehicle suggested catastrophic injuries, Mbwana noted. Yet the precision of the drag marks indicated organization, not chaos. The search team located the bodies at 7:14 a.m. within the dilapidated colonial structure 800 meters from the vehicle. The crime scene told a devastating story of resistance and brutality. The positioning indicated the male victim attempted to reach the female victim, despite incapacitating injuries, Dr. Kamili documented. Defensive wounds on both victims demonstrated sustained resistance. Commander Mbwana's initial assessment identified key evidence others might have overlooked: distinct shoe prints from 6 different individuals, discarded latex gloves suggesting premeditation, and most critically, a dropped California driver's license bearing Theo Carson's photo but a different name. This wasn't opportunistic, Mbwana concluded. This was calculated, and the perpetrators made their first mistake. Commander Mbwana assembled an elite investigative team that included digital forensics experts, international liaison officers, and veteran detectives. Their first breakthrough came within hours when the discarded license revealed a crucial lead. The document bore the photo of Theo Carson but the name Robert Mwangi with a Nairobi address. Interpol records identified Mwangi as a known confidence operator with fraud convictions across 3 countries. His specialty, targeting affluent tourists through elaborate trust-building schemes. The Carsons never existed, Mbwana explained at a press briefing. Their entire identity package, business cards, social media profiles, vacation photos, were fabricated specifically to appeal to Western tourists. The investigation accelerated when authorities raided a Zanzibar city apartment rented under Mwangi's alias. Inside, they discovered the operational hub of a sophisticated criminal enterprise. 6 laptops containing research dossiers on potential targets, fraudulent identification documents from multiple countries, high-end camera equipment for surveillance, resort employee schedules and security patrol patterns, a database of wealthy tourists categorized by nationality, age, and estimated net worth. Digital forensics revealed the network had operated undetected for at least 18 months. Their methodology combined modern technology with classic confidence techniques. They monitored resort social media tags to identify new arrivals, explained cyber investigator Amina Salim. Then cross-referenced vacation photos with social media profiles to assess wealth indicators, relationship dynamics, and potential vulnerability. The Reynolds had been meticulously researched. Mwangi's laptop contained screenshots of Olivia's hospital profile highlighting her family's wealth, Marcus's military background, and even their wedding announcement from 5 years prior. They selected marks based on specific criteria, Salim continued. Couples traveling alone, first-time visitors to Tanzania, those posting about dream vacations or milestone celebrations. These qualities suggested both wealth and unfamiliarity with local dangers. The network comprised 7 core members with defined roles: Mwangi and Bianchi, the fake Carsons, initial contact and trust building; Emmanuel Kariuki, transportation and surveillance; 3 local accomplices, security, containment, and property disposal; Omar Khamis, document forgery and financial transactions. Within 10 days, authorities arrested 5 suspects. Surveillance footage from Tanzania's main airport confirmed Bianchi and Khamis had fled to Kenya hours after the murder. International cooperation led to their capture at a Mombasa hotel 3 weeks later. Bianchi's shoulder wound, still healing, provided irrefutable evidence connecting her to the crime scene. Their operation collapsed because they escalated to violence, Commander Mbwana observed. Murder brought scrutiny their previous crimes had avoided. As the Reynolds investigation intensified, a parallel inquiry uncovered a troubling pattern of concealed tourist crimes. Commander Mbwana's team gained access to classified tourism board minutes, revealing systematic suppression of incident reports. We discovered 7 similar tourist robberies dating back 18 months, forensic accountant Fatima Mbeki explained. Each case was deliberately misclassified as property theft rather than organized criminal activity in official records. The declassified documents exposed explicit directives from senior officials. Incident reporting must prioritize island security reputation. References to tourist targeting are prohibited in public communications. And former tourism board member Abdullah Khamis, granted immunity for his testimony, confirmed the institutional pressure. Tourism represents 27% of Zanzibar's GDP, Khamis stated. When Western travel advisories mention violent crime, bookings plummet instantly. The economic impact affects thousands of families. This pressure created a dangerous information void. Hotels operated without crucial security intelligence. Tourists made decisions without accurate risk assessments. Law enforcement lacked resources to connect related crimes. The previous victims, predominantly European couples, had survived their ordeals. The criminals had perfected a methodology: isolate tourists, extract valuables and banking information, then release them with threats regarding police involvement. Most victims departed Zanzibar immediately, Commander Mbwana noted. Their police reports received minimal investigation, allowing the network to refine their techniques without consequence. The Reynolds case shattered this containment strategy. American diplomatic pressure, international media attention, and the victims' prominent professional backgrounds created unprecedented scrutiny. 2 factors made this case impossible to minimize, explained Justice Minister Hamad: the extreme violence employed and the victims' connections to medical and military communities who demanded answers. The exposed cover-up ultimately damaged Zanzibar's reputation more severely than transparent reporting would have. If you want to protect yourself from hidden travel dangers the tourism industry won't tell you about, subscribe to our channel now. Each week, we expose the safety information deliberately kept from travelers, knowledge that could save your life on your next vacation. The trial began in February 2019, 9 months after the murders. International media filled the Zanzibar High Court as prosecutors presented overwhelming evidence: DNA samples, digital records, financial transactions, and eyewitness testimony. The case file exceeded 2,000 pages, noted lead prosecutor Josephine Mkapa. Few prosecutions in Tanzanian history assembled such comprehensive evidence. 3 accomplices accepted plea agreements, providing devastating testimony against Mwangi and Bianchi. Their accounts detailed not only the Reynolds murders, but 7 previous tourist robberies dating back to 2016. After a 6-week trial, the verdict came swiftly. Robert Mwangi, Lucia Bianchi, and Emmanuel Kariuki received death sentences, though Tanzania maintains an effective moratorium on executions. Their 4 accomplices received life imprisonment without parole. Tourism collapsed in the wake of international coverage. Resort occupancy dropped 68% within 3 months. Economic ripples devastated local communities dependent on visitor spending. The tragedy forced fundamental changes, explained Tourism Minister Hassan. We confronted hard truths about sacrificing safety for promotional narratives. Tanzania implemented comprehensive tourism security reforms, mandatory electronic registration for all tour operators, GPS tracking systems in licensed tourism vehicles, enhanced background checks for hospitality staff, security cameras at resort entry points, international security consultants training local police, transparent incident reporting systems accessible to foreign embassies. The Reynolds family channeled their grief into advocacy, establishing the Marcus and Olivia Reynolds Foundation for Travel Safety. The organization partners with the State Department to improve safety resources for Americans abroad. "Their legacy saves lives," said Olivia's brother during the foundation's launch. "The system that failed them now protects others, because we refuse to let their story disappear." By 2022, Zanzibar's reformed tourism industry had largely recovered, now marketing itself not just for beauty, but for its enhanced security protocols. The Reynolds case remains required study for tourism management students across Africa. Zanzibar's beaches still glitter under equatorial sun. Visitors still marvel at Stone Town's ancient doorways. The island's natural beauty remains undimmed, proof that paradise endures despite the darkness that occasionally touches it. The Reynolds case transformed how we approach exotic travel, revealing that safety requires more than instinct. It demands deliberate preparation. Travel safety experts now recommend specific protocols. Research crime patterns, not just attractions. Use resort-vetted tour services exclusively. Share itineraries with multiple contacts daily. Verify credentials of new acquaintances. Trust established businesses over special private offers. Register with embassy services before departure. Commander Mbwana, now heading Tanzania's Tourist Protection Division, offers this guidance. The most dangerous threat isn't the unknown stranger, it's the false friend who gained your confidence first. The tragedy continues to save lives through the Reynolds Foundation's work. Their travel safety app has been downloaded over 2 million times, featuring real-time security alerts and emergency contact functions. Olivia and Marcus sought connection with each other, with new cultures, with fellow travelers. Their story reminds us that while openness enriches travel, caution preserves it. If this information might protect someone you know, please share this video. Subscribe to our channel for more crucial safety insights travelers need. Your comments help build our community of vigilant, prepared explorers who refuse to let fear limit discovery, while acknowledging that awareness creates the foundation for truly free adventure. What safety measures do you take when traveling? Your experiences could help fellow viewers stay safe.